Hello guys, today the topic is data models. Data modeling is nothing but giving a shape to the data. Database model determines the logical structure of a database and fundamentally determines in which manner data can be stored, organized and manipulated. So data models has basically three models. Those are physical model, object based logical model and record based logical model. Coming to the physical model, we have again two types of models. Those are unified model and frame memory model. Unified model, already we know about the unified modeling language, which is the present trending language in software engineering. So UML is completely comes under the physical data model, which means data stored in UML representations. If you want to know more about the UML, then go to some websites and those will be very perfect for you to know more about UML. Coming to the frame memory model, here the topic here the data will be completely based on the memory management system. So actually we don't go more about physical model because physical model is somehow about how the data is to be stored, but we actually don't know about how the data is to be stored. So coming to the object based logical model, we have functional model here first. So function, already we know about function if is nothing but a block of statements and which we execute whenever we want. So functional model are separated as blocks. So here the data will be stored as a blocks format, so that's the functional model. Coming to the object oriented model, already we are very familiar with the OOPs. That means those will be classes, objects, polymorphism, encapsulation, data abstraction. All these comes under OOPs, which means here everything is treated as an object. So coming to the semantic model, I think semantic model is very familiar for you guys, because whenever we want to search something in a browser, automatically the actual word will follow our two three letters. That means if we want to describe if we want to search about umbrella, when we enter UMB, automatically RELLA will follow our words. So that's the semantic model. The data is stored, will the data actually stored and represented whenever we want. And coming to the entity relational model, here the data is stored in diagrammatical representation. Coming to the record based logical model, we have relational model, hierarchical model and network model. Relational model, in relational model the data is stored in the format of tables. This is the actual database management system storage format. And coming to the hierarchical model, here the data is stored in the format of trees. Here we have links, those are treated as pointers in trees. And coming to the network model, the data is stored in the format of graph. Here we have index and pointer. So let's discuss more about entity relational, a relational, hierarchical, network and object oriented, because these will be very important for any technical competitive examinations and academic purpose also. So let's have a clear view of object oriented database model. An object database is a system in which information is represented in the form of objects as used in object-oriented programming. Object-oriented databases are different from relational databases, which are table-oriented. So here data is based on the object-oriented programming language concept, which is now in wide use. Also inheritance, polymorphism, overloading, all these concepts also provide an interface to objects, are among the key concepts of object-oriented programming that have found applications in data modeling. So this data model also supports a rich type system, including structured and collection types. It provides code reusability, real world modeling, reliability, flexibility. Also, it is low cost compared to other models, and these are very supportable in object oriented data model. So, coming to the advantages of this model, it can handle different types of data, and also it is very simple in use compared to the other models. The object oriented database is having low maintenance cost as compared to other models because most of the tasks within the system are encapsulated. They may be reused and incorporated into new tasks. So coming to the disadvantages, because this data model has some disadvantages, that's why it leads to invent other database models. So coming to the disadvantages, so there is no universally defined data model for this model, and most models lack a theoretical foundation. In comparison to relational database model, this database model is still relatively limited. There is a lack of support for security in this model that do not provide adequate security mechanisms. The system more complex than that of traditional database management systems. So coming to the entity relational model, here the data is represented in form of entities, relation, attributes, and using links. Here, if we have a employee name, this will be treated as an entity set, and this is an entity representation, relational representation, attribute representation, and link. If we want to use this relation, if we want to draw some more entity, then we need to use this relation. And again, this is an entity, employee and something company details. So this is entity relational model. Coming to the relational model, so relational data model, as we discussed before, the data is stored in the format of tables. So here each row in a table called tuple. Here how many tuples are there? 3 tuples, which means number of tuples is called cardinality. So cardinality number is 3. So coming to the attribute, each column in tuple is called an attributes. Here how many attributes are there? We have 3 attributes. Those are number, name, and address. So in this format the data is stored in relational model. Coming to the hierarchical model, here the data is stored in the format of tree. This is not, and coming to this, here tree. Here we have a separate nodes to every node, unlike a graph. So coming to the network model, here this is stored in this data is stored in graphical representation. Actually, in relational model, changes in the database structure do not affect the data access. This is one of the advantages in relational model. Also, we can write complex query to access or modify the data from database. It is easier to maintain security as compared to other models. Also, it has some disadvantages. So those are, mapping of objects in relational database is very difficult. Also, data integrity is difficult to ensure with relational database. Also, hardware overheads are incurred, which makes it costly. Relational database system hides the implementation complexities and the physical data storage details from the users. So coming to the advantages and disadvantages of hierarchical database model. So already we know hierarchical database model is in the form of tree. So we have the advantages of hierarchical database model are, this model allows us very easy addition and deletion of new information. We can easily update the information in hierarchical database model. For example, there is a president with many managers below them, and those managers have many employees below them, but each employee has only one manager. Already we know about trees concept, so there is no need to concentrate more on trees. So completely this is based on trees. And coming to the disadvantages of hierarchical database model, it requires data to be repetitively stored in many different entities. Nowadays, there is no longer use of linear data storage mediums such as tapes. Searching for data requires the database management system to run through the entire model from top to bottom until the required information is found, making queries very slow. So in this model, hierarchical model has those advantages and disadvantages. Coming to the network database model. Network database model advantage is it is conceptually simple and easy to design. It can represent redundancy in data more effectively than in the hierarchical model. Also, network model can handle the one to many and many to many relationships, which is real help in modeling the real life situations. The data access is easier and flexible than the hierarchical model. Also, it has disadvantages. Those are insertion, deletion, and updating operations of any record require the large number of pointers and adjustments. And also, structural changes to the database is also difficult, of course, in network model, as we know before. This is the overall topic of database management system. So thank you so much for watching the video, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel, and please like my video if you like the video. So thank you.